The Hollow Where Shadows Fled, a Halloween tale of faith and fear in the Appalachian Mountains. The year was 1891, and the hills were darker than they'd ever been. A waning moon hung over the mountains like broken lanterns, and the fog rolled through the hollers thick as smoke from a coal fire. 4 travelers, men and women of weary step and uneasy hearts, moved through those woods with only a dim lantern between them and the night. They were coming from a late visit at a kinfolk's place in the next valley. They were hard-working folk, farmers and mill hands, not easily spooked. But that night, even the whippoorwills had gone silent. The woods seemed to whisper with unseen things, and every twig snap made them draw closer together. As they wound along the narrow footpath near Miller's Creek, the air turned colder. The lantern began to flicker as if fighting against something unseen. Then, there it was. A shadow moved where no man could walk. Tall, thin, its limbs bent like broken branches. It crept beside the tree line, pale eyes glowing faintly through the fog. The leader, a young man named Amos, lifted a lantern higher, and the creature vanished. Just gone. But the smell of wet earth and rot lingered in its place. Someone whispered, "Run!" And they did. Branches whipped their faces, skirts tore, boots slipped in the mud. They ran until the creek widened, and there, hovering just above the water, was the shape of a woman, white as snow, eyes hollow, hands reaching out as if begging for mercy that never came. She began to sing, soft and broken, a lullaby from long ago. The travelers froze, hearts pounding, until one shouted, "That ain't no woman, that's a haint!" And again, they ran. The woods seemed alive now, like it was hurting them somewhere. Wind roared through the pines with voices that wasn't the wind's own. They stumbled into a clearing where an old oak stood split by lightning long ago. From the hollow of that tree came a growl, not animal and not human. Its voice rumbled with hate itself. 2 red eyes blinked open inside the trunk, and the travelers felt the ground tremble under their feet. They fell to their knees, unable to scream, until one of them managed to gasp, "Lord, have mercy!" And in that very moment, the thing roared and vanished. The air grew still. The lantern sputtered back to life, and beyond the fog, they saw it. A small white church sitting alone at the edge of the clearing, its steeple crooked, its door hanging open. The graveyard around it was empty, as if the dead had fled. They stumbled toward the church, hearts pounding, still trembling from what they'd seen. Inside, a single lamp burned upon the altar, and a man knelt with a broom in hand, a minister, gray-haired and worn from years of tending both building and souls. He turned at their frantic entrance, eyes steady and calm. "Children," he said, "what's chased you so hard through the night?" They told him everything, of the shadow, the ghost, the demon in the oak. They spoke in broken words, voices shaking, until finally they said, "What kind of evil rules these woods?" The old minister set his broom aside, walked to the pulpit, and opened the great Bible that lay upon it. His hands did not tremble, his eyes were sure. "What you met tonight," he said, "ain't the rulers of these hills. It's the remnants of a war that was lost long before you came here. The devil and his legions, they know their time is short. They hiss and howl, but they cannot claim what God has already redeemed." He walked among them, pointing to the wooden cross that hung behind the pulpit. "Every ghost, every whisper, every shadow that walks these woods trembles at this name, Jesus Christ. For he's the Lord of this hollow and every hollow beyond. And though they may rise in the dark, they flee at the light. The wind outside moaned through the shingles. The travelers huddled close as the minister's voice rose like thunder rolling across the ridges. "You've came through fear," he said, "but fear don't win. God does. The haints and horrors that try to steal your breath, they're reminders that there is a battle, but also that the victory was already won. So don't you run from the darkness. Carry the light into it." He lifted the Bible high and spoke, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of darkness. But greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world." As the words echoed through the church, the travelers felt the heaviness lift. The fear drained from their bones. The storm outside quieted. The night grew still, and when they stepped outside again, the fog had lifted. The stars above the mountains burned bright and clear, as if heaven itself had pulled back the veil. Amos turned to the others and whispered, "We ran from the dark, but the dark ran from him." And so it was said for generations in those parts, that the hollow where shadows once walked became the hollows where shadows fled. That little church, forgotten by most, became a beacon to the hills. A reminder that Halloween night ain't about the power of darkness, but about the light that never dies. For every ghost must bow, every demon must flee, and every hollow belongs to the Lord. I hope you enjoyed it, and happy Halloween.